We'll get to work.
Good evening and welcome to the Falmouth Conservation Commission Wednesday, January 23rd, 2013 meeting. First item on the agenda is other business. Discuss and vote conservation restrictions for Teledyne Instruments, Inc. Jen, we have nothing
Yes, Madam
to
Chairman,
vote,
we
right?
still haven't heard from the applicant's representative. I'll just at this point say I recommend we remove it from the agenda and we'll repost it when I hear from them.
Okay, so we don't have to take any action.
No.
Request for continuance under determination of applicability. Sally Clements, 137 Lakeshore Drive, East Falmouth, for permission to pump and remove the existing cesspool and install a new Title V sewage disposal system.
Mark is still working with the applicant's representative. They would like a 2-week continuance at this point.
So moved. Second.
Any questions?
Oh, I'm sorry,
On the board.
Susan, the date would be February 6th.
February 6th.
Who did that, Tom?
Yes,
And who seconded?
I did.
Any questions from the audience? Okay, motion on the table is a continuance till February 6th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Gerald and Maura Harvey, 293 Grand Avenue, for permission to pump and remove the existing septic system, install a new Title V sewage disposal system, new parking area to remove trees and shrubs and replace with indigenous plants, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping.
Yes, Madam Chairman. Again, Mark is still working with the applicant's representative, and they are asking for an additional 1-week continuance.
Okay, so that's
So moved.
January 30th?
Yeah, they're finalizing the plans on both those projects.
Okay.
So that was
Yeah, the 30th, January 30th, sorry.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the table to continue to January 30th. Are there any other questions on the board, in the audience? Okay, we'll take the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Request for a continuance under a notice of intent. Daniel Vlock and Joyce Myers, 53 Quonset Road, Falmouth, for permission to raise, R-A-Z-E, the existing house and construct a new 5-bedroom, single-family house with attached garage, decks with stairs, rinse station, install new Title V sewage disposal system, driveway utilities, dry wells, mitigation plantings to remove invasive plant species and replace with native plants, to remove cedars and replace with cedars, to license the existing dock and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping.
Yes, Madam Chairman, the applicant's representative is requesting a continuance for 1 week to January 30th.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the board? Any questions from the audience? Okay, motion on the table is a continuance to January 30th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Vote minutes of the 9th. I've read the minutes, and they look okay to me.
Move to accept the minutes.
Second.
Anybody else have comments? Okay, motion and second on the table to accept the minutes as presented. Usual impeccable minutes from Susan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Request for a determination of applicability.
Madam Chairman,
I'm sorry, who did it? Who's moved?
I moved. I seconded it.
Request for determination of applicability. Sally Clements, 137 Lakeshore Drive, is continued until February 6th. Gerald and Maura Harvey, 293 Grand Avenue, is continued to January 30th. And now we're to request for hearings under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are heard simultaneously under the authority of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. First one is Daniel Vlock and Joyce Myers, 53 Quonset Road, and that will be heard next week, continued to next week. Continued request for hearings under a notice of intent. Christopher and Betsy Crowley, Pine Bank Road, map 02A0603700, North Falmouth, for permission to construct a 3-bedroom, single-family house on piers, attached deck with stairs, landing with stairs, install a gravel or shell driveway, utilities, temporary irrigation system, Title V pressure dose system, relocate an existing gas line, and replant with native trees and shrubs in the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, your quorum for this is Tommy, Mike, Betsy, Tom, and Court. You should have received, architecturals that you have requested, a revised plan, depicting that the only enclosure below the structure will be the garage. And that is in the A flood zone, so shouldn't be an issue. Everything else is gonna be open pilings. I know that the commission, Courtney, you wanted a letter from the Board of Health.
Yeah.
I spoke to Dave Kerrigan today. He said citing the system under the house with those open pilings is permittable. There may be a few tweaks to the plan, but he says the citing the system is permittable. He did not give that to me in writing, but he did come at the end of the day today to tell me
But
that.
not in any enclosed area?
No, it's not in an enclosed area, it's underneath the house. The house is on open pilings. The only enclosed area would be the garage. Are you looking?
So, because I don't, so this doesn't have it.
See, that's, okay, here's your velocity zone.
Oh, okay, I
So
see.
the enclosure's only in the garage area. That is where the septic system is. And that is what he told me at the end of the day today.
And Barbara?
Yes.
Oh, and other than that, I have no comments at this point.
I figured you didn't, that's why I was sort of moving on. Barbara, would you like to make any comments? Or would you just like to answer questions?
No, I think those are the two items that you asked about. And we did provide the clarification with better architecturals. And the garage will be enclosed. The septic system meets or exceeds all of Title V's criteria for setbacks and separation from groundwater. And we're good to go.
Yeah, and if there does have to be some tweaking,
some
just come and
tweaking.
talk to Jen and,
David will.
right,
Yeah.
you
And
work it
Barbara,
out.
we did talk about, at the last hearing, the special condition about no armoring the bank in the future.
Yes.
And the fact that you and I will sit down, with the applicant as well to discuss the trees and the plants that you wanted to put closer to that, Cedar Grove near Narragansett Harbor.
That's correct.
Yep. Fine.
Okay? Okay, I'll,
You okay for it? Okay.
So if I understand it correctly, where what you call the garage enclosure, all the way around, including where the stairs are all breakaway panels.
No,
No.
No, there's nothing.
It's A-zone, there's no, it's slab foundation.
it's A-zone, it doesn't
It's A-zone,
require
slab
breakaway panel.
foundation with vents.
So it's outside
Walls.
of,
That's,
Yes.
You want me to show you?
velocity one's right here.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
No.
Falmouth one, the FEMA one's right here, Falmouth
Okay.
one's right there.
You're totally out of the,
And you're out of there, right there, the Falmouth.
and I have more than 10 feet to
No,
the slab.
that's fine.
Okay, Court?
Okay,
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
move to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
Any further questions? Any questions from the audience? Don, you have any questions? You hadn't seen this one before. Okay, motion and a second on the table to close this hearing and take it under advisement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. I think you're the only one who can talk today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Ms. Crowley.
Thank you. Barbara, we'll see you next week.
Next week.
Town of Falmouth Beach Department, care of Don Hoffer, 318 Quaker Road, North Falmouth, for permission to construct and maintain a 5-foot by 55-foot handicap ramp, 4-foot by 8-foot stair extension, post signs, and the associated excavating and grading. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, this is to construct a handicap ramp along the seawall at Old Silver Beach residence side. It is gonna come out on the south side of the parking lot, that corner near the, concession stand, come right along the base of the seawall, and come right into where the stairs are, the existing stairs, and corner onto the beach. You did approve a handicap ramp on the old Silver Beach open side? What do we call that side? Public side. That was, in staff's opinion, a lot more intrusive than this. We had to go through a dune at that point. So this is tucked right along
Yeah,
that seawall.
great.
It's
Great, good.
not a huge concern of the staff. Does everybody have a plan showing that? Does anybody need to see the plan since we don't have an easel down here?
Okay, and Don seems reluctant to come up and tell us who he is, and
This is for the beach department. Don Hopper, our beach superintendent, is in the audience
Don
if you
can-
have any questions.
just introduce yourself, and if there are any
I'm
questions.
Don Hopper, the beach superintendent.
Okay.
And if anybody has any questions, be glad to try to answer them.
Yep, any questions?
No questions.
Michelle?
Nope.
Question.
Did you give it the University of Michigan engineering stamp?
Blue.
Oh, all right. Any questions?
Speaking about the stamp, at some point, it will be stamped, I take it?
Yes, I'll have Peter stamp it. The
Okay.
town engineer.
Yeah.
We'll have him look at
There
that.
is a block of concrete at the end of the ramp that I assume has to go.
This one?
It will go.
Right down here.
It is going, it's been there
It's
for
going?
years.
Yeah.
It's a remnants of an old storage vault. And it's been an eyesore and taken up space, and
It's gonna go.
it serves no
Just-
purpose.
It sounds
Something
like
to
a
lift it and
beautiful
take
thing
it
to
out.
me.
All right. Tommy?
No questions.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion in 2 seconds to close this hearing and take it under advisement. Any further questions on the board? Any further questions from the audience? Audience is quite quiet today. Don, would you like a few
I might
words?
just thank the town's engineering department for putting out a very complete package on this.
I agree.
Yeah,
My presentations to the Conservation Commission are a lot more thorough nowadays, now that I have somebody that's putting drawings together that represent what we're doing.
yeah, we're
Something.
all fortunate. We feel fortunate working with the engineering department too.
They
I
do a
think it
great
helps,
job.
helps all of us. Okay, thanks, Don.
Yep.
Thank you, Don. Good night.
So there's a motion and a second on the table to close the hearing and take it under advisement. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Okay, vote orders of conditions. Mark Thoreau and Patricia O'Brien, 124 Ferry Road
No,
and
you're
Lot
all set, Dawn.
179 Ferry Road. Jen?
1 second, Madam Chairman. Michelle, you're not needed for any of the quorums. If you wanted to go.
Okay, do I need to sign anything?
No.
Well,
Yes, this is the seawall.
is she not going to go on any of these? So
No.
let me just go to the last business.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to skip to other business because Michelle could leave.
Sweet.
We try.
This is use of BB Woods for K9 cardio for a race. What
Yep.
is it?
Yep, I'll
Do we have
read
a
the
date?
letter to you. It says, "Dear Conservation Commission, thank you for your support last year for our fundraising race for the Mashpee Dog Park with our Cape Canine Cardio Canine 5K. You approved this event last year. This year's race will benefit the Friends of Falmouth Dogs, and we are seeking the Commission's approval for the use of BB Woods on June 30th. The race will take about 1 hour, starts at 9 a.m., and like last year, we will leave the woods as we find them with a cleanup crew, which will sweep the 3-mile course and clean up any dog debris and cups and other trash that
We've
they
learned a
find.
word for it
And they thank you in advance for your consideration.
Okay,
And Jason Michard from Cape
done this.
Canine Cardio.
They've done this race several years, and I've always been impressed that they're well organized.
good. So will you make a motion?
I would move to approve it.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Goodbye, Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.
Night.
Good night, Ann.
Monday morning, Ann. Michelle will tell you.
Yes.
Mark Thoreau and Patricia O'Brien, 124 Ferry Road in Lot 179 Ferry Road. Jen?
Yes, Madam Chairman, this was the construction of the vertical sheet piling seawall that the
Oh, that's
applicant
right.
wanted to construct in Quoit Bay, along like Sea Pit River. It's that, pretty much the last house along the
Yep.
Sea Pit River. The existing wall, which was licensed, had been there for multiple years, was destroyed in Tropical Storm Sandy. The staff had given them permission to remove the debris, which was causing more damage to the resource area, so we allowed them to remove that, which is why the wall wasn't present when the board went out to review the project. The only difference, this is actually going to go further inland due to the erosion, so it's located more landward than the original wall. The only difference really between this one and the original one is the materials being used and the height. The height is 3 feet higher than the original wall.
So you're gonna fill in behind it?
Yes,
and
they're going to
plant.
backfill in behind it and plant it.
Yeah.
If you've
the
been
only-
there, it's a fairly steep slope. It's an unvegetated area, so I don't really have an issue. They aren't really removing natural vegetation to put this in and backfill it. They'll be enhancing that. They do have to remove some material, obviously, to install the structure, but
Yeah, as I
needs
remember,
to be happen.
the only issue was there's a big tree that they want to preserve
Yes.
also, but just make a finding that that big tree is there, and then a condition
Yes.
that care be taken that the helical, what are they
Helical
called?
piles.
Helical piles, the
Oak.
vertical screws that go into the,
Yeah, I'll check. I know I
Horizontally.
have photos of that tree. I'll check the species and call it out. And care with the helical pilings. Okay.
yep,
Sure.
okay?
I move to accept the order as discussed.
Second?
Anything to add to it? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. James and Nancy Wyatt, 23 Charles River Road, East Falmouth.
Yes, Madam Chairman, this was the proposed dock out on Childs River. A couple of the special conditions that we discussed was the bubbler use, because it is a ramp system, ramp with a float in this area. There is more than enough water depth to meet the regulations. So in this case, a float can be used off this property. The existing structure that's there is not licensed, nor is it permitted. So in the
It has to be
town's eyes, it is an illegal structure and does need to be removed and should not be used.
It has to be removed before construction begins.
Before
on the other.
construction of the new dock, it should be removed immediately. Also, I would like to see, and I called this out at the hearing, that the area in front of the existing structure has a lot of pea stone and some flagstones. If they're
Right.
gonna be removing that structure, there's really no reason to have access to the water in that area. It just promotes erosion.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see all that material removed and that area replanted.
Right,
And we also talked about.
Including the tree.
Including a
Tree that
tree.
they're removing.
And then we also, bubbler use for the floats.
It's my recollection that the applicant was, when you brought that up, the applicant was in favor of doing everything.
Yes.
He said that he doesn't use that structure.
He
'cause
does
of
not
its-
use the structure. At
and-
first, they were a little apprehensive, but then they did say they did not use the structure for their, family boat and.
Okay. Well, I would like to move that we accept the order as discussed.
Second.
any further comments on it? Okay, all in favor, say of approval, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. John and Margaret Forbes, 281 Edgewater Drive West.
you all remember this one, it was the one with all the remnant float parts stacked up behind the house on the
Oh,
little
yeah.
coastal bank.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
you
we all
remember
remember
this
this
one. The little teeny house out on Edgewater Drive, obviously, I do believe the applicant's representative said that they were moving it that day. The staff has not been able to go out to confirm that. But we will have them remove all the cut material from that, we have removed cut material from foundation. Yeah, from near the foundation. They did have a chapter 91 license for the dock, so the dock is completely permitted. We do have to specify in the order of conditions, planting size and species, because staff had the concerns that they were kind of hugging that edge of the property. Even though they are pulling the structure back, it did have a little bit more room to plant closer to the resource area. They chose to run that mitigation up the sides of the property. It will enhance what's already there, so
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
all-
think
and
the
it's all in
board,
the A zone to the
yeah,
buffer.
had a concern with that.
I mean, it's all in the A zone to the resource.
You did want a landscape plan prior to the implementation, because it does have this kind of unique configuration. So we'll be requiring that. You also wanted to require bounds along that, just again, because of the unique configuration of the mitigation area that's called out. And Mike, I believe you wanted to save that oak in the front. Was that you? Or maybe it was
No,
Betsy. Somebody brought up the 13.
My point was
inch.
that you gotta be careful doing it. You can
Yeah,
save it.
because
but-
they are changing the grading in that area too. If you look at the plan, they have that 14-foot contour right there. They are changing the grading, about 5 or so feet off that oak, so they'll need to
Yeah, make sure it's
protect it
ringed.
somehow.
Yeah,
Yes,
ringed
yeah,
with,
somehow. That's the point.
Yep.
clearly ringed and protected.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
And that is everything the board discussed on that. Does anybody have any additional comments or recollections from that?
That's all subject.
Oh. Nope.
Make a motion to accept the order as discussed.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion in 2 seconds to accept the order as read and discussed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Right after we adjourn, which should be soon, if you're going to be away anytime this month, no, not this month, next month, let Jen know, because you might be a little tight on some.
Okay.
The sooner we know, the better, because if we have to postpone a meeting. You too.
I'm here.
You're here.
I'm here.
Mike's here. All of February. As far
Far as I know,
All right.
I'm not gonna make commitments.
All right. Should we adjourn?
You have one more, Madam Chairman?
One more.
212
Oh, we do?
Associates Road.
Oh, sorry about
I'm
that.
going to recuse myself.
Okay. That leaves 4 of us.
Okay, 212 Associates Road, fairly large house construction with the pool, big dewatering basin,
They're
you're
reconfiguring.
turning
the-
in right there.
Reconfiguring
They're
the pool.
reconfiguring the pool. The only concern the staff had was they are cutting into a naturally vegetated A-zone buffer to the marsh and the wetland to do the construction. The structure's not gonna be located in that naturally vegetated area, but they do have the limit of work that kind of cuts into it so they can construct it. That's something the board's gonna have to decide whether or not to allow. They are replanting that area. Another concern I had was planting over the dry well for that, was it the shower or the spa or the pool? But they said that they would alter that landscape design in that area.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with this. They can replant that area.
Okay,
It's because we'll be getting more. But-
Okay.
But in the order of conditions,
call
that
out the fact that there's
additional
additional.
planning has to remain.
Yep,
And they are gonna relocate those dry wells, is that the plan?
No, they just had a planting plan that showed plants over them.
Yeah, and I would agree, they should not be there, because if they ever have to dig up the dry well, there go the plants.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have more
They have
plants.
more
They have a
area
lot
that they
more
can put it
plants
in there.
Yeah,
that they're
that's what I
gonna-
mean.
Okay.
But whatever's over that should be a low plant that if they have to dig it up, they can replant
Yeah, right.
something
Yeah.
low.
Okay.
All right? Okay, should we have a motion?
Move to accept the recommendation of staff on the order of conditions for 212 Associates Road.
Second.
Okay, motion and second on the table to accept this order is read and discussed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved.
Please sign this back.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Is there any discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Wow.
Unanimous, so moved.
Wow.